Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take a rich collection of insights and, well, distill them just for you. Today, we're embarking on a pretty extraordinary journey, I think. We're looking into a text called Blips of Awe, Fragments of Meaning. And this isn't your stand-on essay, it's described more like a metaphysical field recording, a transmission almost.
Right, that's a good way to put it.
It explores what it means to be alive when time isn't quite linear, when the self is this complex echo and language struggles to paint the unpaintable.
It really does.
So our mission today is to try and unravel these really profound ideas, pull out the key nuggets, and see how they might shift your perspective a bit.
Absolutely. And it's true, this isn't something you just read. It's more like an experience you have.
Okay.
The source calls it a synesthetic soliloquy, a shimmering nebula of cognition. Big words. But basically, it's like a stream of consciousness where thoughts and feelings kind of blend together.
Right, like seeing sounds or hearing colors, that kind of thing. It definitely challenges how we usually think about time, consciousness, even reality.
Pushes us a bit.
It does. It pushes us to think about how our own minds sort of flicker between what feels deeply personal and what's, fundamentally cosmic or universal.
Okay, let's dive into one of the core ideas then. This concept of the femtosecond present moment.
Yes.
So the text paints this picture. Imagine the universe just flooding your senses, all five of them, with this constant cascade of information, electromagnetic impulses.
A huge amount of data constantly.
Exactly. And then it suggests emotion acts like a kind of sixth sense, gathering all that resonance, that input, and shaping it into your sense of self, your perception.
Molesting it, yeah.
And in this ultra-fast here and now, time doesn't tick like a clock, past and future. They're sort of out of reach physically.
Right. Not tangible in that instant.
So if that's the base level, what does this tell us about our everyday experience? Time flowing smoothly in a line. Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The text talks about the ongoing decohesion of quantum froth, cohering into the fallout we refer to as consensus reality.
Yeah, quantum froth. Unpack that a bit.
Think of it as this sort of blurry underlying potentiality, a sea of possibilities constantly shifting. And decohesion is like things losing their distinct quantum states.
Right.
But then somehow consciousness, ours, maybe others, helps that blur cohere, helps it stabilize into the clear shared reality we all experience.
So reality isn't just there, it's actively being formed.
Exactly. An ongoing process, not a fixed stage. And the text even brings up Avshalom Elitzer's quite radical idea
Yeah.
that the universe might have these quantum erasure capabilities. It could potentially undo improbable pasts or even unprobe unlikely futures without leaving a trace.
Wow. Like a cosmic undo button. That's a big thought.
It is mind-bending stuff.
So if time isn't strictly linear at that fundamental quantum level, it really begs the question, why do we experience it so strongly as past, present, future? In that order.
Well, the source suggests consciousness isn't exclusively human.
Okay.
It posits that consciousness, maybe even that of every living thing around me, participates in interpreting this decoherence.
So like animals, plants.
Yeah, even things with what it calls minimal continuity processing, like frogs squawking, flowers stretching sunward, or even soil simply soiling.
Just being.
Exactly. They engage in being without needing to anchor themselves in our human concepts of past, present, or future. They're just in the flow.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for us humans then, because we do anchor ourselves, right? The text says we segment this flux.
We do. We constantly chop it up.
Every moment, every thought gets carved, stored, and labeled by awareness. We partition it.
And that act, that partitioning, creates what the text calls the illusion of a tangible history.
A narrative backdrop.
Precisely. A stage for our own personal theater of self. We are, it suggests, the most intricate storytellers we know. We remember fragments, little blips, and we recursively feed them back into the present. We build our story.
That connects to another idea in the text, doesn't it? Ectolution.
Ah, yes. Ectolution. It's a fascinating concept. So traditional evolution is about biological adaptation, right? Genes, physical traits.
Survival of the fittest, basically.
Right. But ectolution suggests that consciousness itself is a generative force. It co-evolves with matter.
How so?
Through things like language, technology, philosophy. These aren't just byproducts of biology. They're tools consciousness uses to actively shape its own external conditions.
So human ingenuity becomes an evolutionary accelerant.
You got it. It allows for these huge paradigm shifts through ideas alone. It's about the unfolding of consciousness beyond the flesh.
That's powerful. Okay, the text also breaks down consciousness into three layers. Let's unpack those, starting with the base, the vegetative layer.
Yeah, the foundational one. This is about our barest survival needs, simple as breathe or die, eat or perish, sleep or disintegrate.
The absolute basic.
The real basics, the vegetative rituals of being. Think about your gut bacteria digesting food, a whole symbiotic farm village working away,
Mm.
or your blood cycling oxygen, totally automatic.
And it applies to everyone, right? The
Mm.
text even mentions someone like Donald Trump.
Yeah, it makes the point that everyone, regardless of who they are, is bound by this fundamental cognition, shaped by their neural architecture and timing of their birth, limited in their basic range of thought by these biological factors.
And sleep is crucial here, too.
Absolutely essential. The text describes cerebral fluids rinsing the brain, washing out the day's gunk. Sleep allows awareness to drift, to reset.
Without it.
Consciousness degrades. Simple as that. This whole complex orchestra of basic bodily impulses, it's constantly working to just slightly sway entropy towards continuity, towards life.
Okay, so that's layer one. What's the second level?
Level 2 is desire and urge. Think Freud, right? The core drivers.
Those needs, drives.
It's exactly. From conception, this individualized spark of awareness emerges. And it evolves into that constant evolving tension between me and the other, defining ourselves by distinction.
I am me because I am not you.
Right. But here's the twist. The text says on the subatomic level that separation collapses.
Back to the corner flux.
Back to the flux. Down there's no stable ground, no solid, me only flux.
So our identity is what?
A subtly coherent pattern clinging to the narrative scaffolding of experience. It's the story we build, the pattern we perceive, clinging to the framework of our memories and experiences. But the foundation is shifting.
Wow. Okay. Layer three, then. Intellectual considerations.
Yes, this is where things get complex. This is where the collapse of possibility coalesces into intent, into planning, into the sprawling architectures of civilization.
So like buildings, laws, tech.
All of it, structures, services, technologies, they're extensions of human imagination, right up to the internet and AI, which the text sees as the current culmination.
This is the realm where we toil daily, wage wars, draw tribal lines.
And create art, write philosophy, encode social agreements, all of it.
But this layer, even though it feels so real, so solid, it's fragile.
Very fragile, according to the text. No institution, no ideology is guaranteed to persist if we vanish. It's all built on us.
A continuous echo of ancestral achievement.
Exactly, binding our myths of success to this illusion of progress. And language is absolutely key here.
How so?
The text states, human language creates entire worlds. Simple mouth noises transform into shared internal worlds. We forge empires, build societies through this suggestive neuro-linguistic resonance. Language shapes thought, shapes reality.
Okay, so we've got these layers. We've talked about the fleeting present moment, how past and future might be constructs, the physical present as probabilities collapsing.
Right.
Here we are experiencing I am. That feeling is undeniable.
It is, and that's the crux, isn't it? How does the human mind manage to manipulate this otherwise indifferent decoherence of quantum froth into the emergent present? How does that I am feeling arise?
Does the text offer an answer?
It explores possibilities. One idea is that I am isn't just the body. It's maybe a multidimensional energy fold traveling through space-time.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it suggests that at death, while the body might decohere, return to the froth, the idea of me, that pattern, might dissolve into something broader, a field of universal consciousness.
So asking if I return becomes less important.
Perhaps secondary, yes. The text implies what truly matters is the sheer being of being, the experience itself.
And this knowledge, this perspective, it's part of our philosophical inheritance.
It is, and it gives us, within limits, the power to shape who we are, the limits being physics and our shared reality, of course.
It's kind of amazing that our regular lives, our 9-to-5 existence, can actually fund these moments of marvel where we glimpse these bigger ideas.
It really is, the mundane enabling the profound.
The text then shifts a bit, exploring what happens when someone loses their mind.
Right, insanity.
It suggests it's not necessarily a loss of internal coherence.
No, not always. It's more like they lose connection to our shared reality, the consensus reality we talked about.
So insanity isn't just chaos.
Not necessarily. The text frames it as the blossoming of an alternate coherence, a different pattern, like a rhythm dance to a forgotten song.
That's a poetic way to put it.
It is. And temporary disturbances, say through psychedelics or other altered states, can offer glimpses into that personal abyss.
Glimpses of other coherences?
Maybe. They reveal the astonishing ability of consciousness to pattern match even the wildest hallucinations into emotion, into narrative, into meaning. The brain tries to make sense, even of chaos.
So the hallucinated doesn't replace reality, it punctuates it.
Exactly. The brain just begins composing in another key, as the text says.
But this whole exploration, these wilds of cognition, it remains fundamentally ineffable, right? Hard to put into words.
Deeply ineffable. It resists simple description, yet it feels infinitely explorable.
And that feeling, that edge, that's where awe comes in.
Precisely. Awe is the signal that we've reached the edge of what can be reasoned through and must now be felt. Logic hits its limit, and feeling takes over.
If we accept this kind of fluid participatory reality, what does that mean for the idea of truth?
Well, the text suggests truth becomes more like a dynamic flame. It flickers, it adapts to attention, interpretation, need.
So it's not fixed.
Its malleability is its genius, the text argues. Truth has to adapt to be useful in a changing world. This isn't about claiming some final ultimate insight.
Okay.
It's more about illuminating the mechanism by which insight becomes possible, how we arrive at understanding.
There's a lovely little thought near the end about the capital I in English.
Ah, yes. That's a beautiful point.
Is it just grammar? Or is it maybe there to remind us of something bigger? That quiet wholeness resting within the confines of infinity.
As opposed to the lowercase I.
The lowercase I of everyday conversation, which is always busy tackling the mundanities of survival.
It really feels like more than a quirk of grammar, doesn't it?
It does.
It's the glyph of ego, yes, but also the silent sentinel of awareness. It's not the eyes that can traffic or worrying about bills.
But the I that observes.
The I that has seen the storm and dreamt beyond it. The lowercase I is the shorthand of task lists, but the capital I, it suggests, is the witness. The vertical self, spine-like, reaching up from language to brush the sacred canopy.
That's a beautiful image. So maybe we write I, not just to be grammatically correct.
To remember.
To remember that even while the body cooks breakfast or races a deadline, some part of us is always seated cross-legged in the center of the stars.
Always present to that larger reality.
The author also gets quite personal, sharing a feeling of embarrassment about their own writing, wondering why they feel that.
Yes, that vulnerability is quite striking.
What's the text's take on that feeling?
It suggests this embarrassment is actually a delicate symptom of sincerity, a sign that you're right where you need to be, at the edge where real writing begins.
So it's not about external critics.
Not primarily. It's the old internal jury, that voice inside. When you're trying to do something difficult, like sculpting smoke, or trying to hold water, trying to name experiences that resist naming,
Yeah.
discomfort arises. Because you're stretching yourself, doing something genuinely new within yourself.
So should you feel embarrassed? The text kind of says no, but also yes.
Exactly. It says yes, because embarrassment is part of the human condition. It's natural.
It's the blush of risking truth.
The compass needle spinning near transformation. It shows you're close to something important.
The text then says, writing is public intimacy. Vulnerability is the price of resonance.
Powerful, isn't it? Your embarrassment isn't foolishness. It's proof you're being brave.
Yeah.
A signal flare that you're putting something real out there.
It connects it back to that spirit of exploration like Star Trek, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Right. But applying it.
Not just outward, but inward. Exploring the inner cosmos.
Exactly. Starships, the text concludes, aren't built only of alloys and engines. They're built from curiosity, from awe, from that quiet electric defiance of the unknown.
Wow, what a journey through these blips of awe. Seriously. We've covered quantum froth, layers of consciousness, the self, even grammar.
We really went deep.
For me, the core takeaway is that invitation to stay open to awe, to let the moment, the present, just sing its weird hymn, as the text might put it.
I agree. And the deep dive shows the writing itself isn't asking for a final meaning. It sort of is the meaning. Mid-utterance, mid-dream, mid-decoherence.
You don't need to fix it or pin it down.
Just breathe with it. Be present to it. And maybe for you, our listener, the final thought is this.
No.
Carry on, explorer. The universe, both inner and outer, awaits your own peculiar, luminous footprints. What small step might you take today?
We've given you the starting point, the first clue in this intriguing mystery. Now it's your turn to take the reins. Head over to kindredsoulsearch.com and see what you uncover. What could kindred soul search mean to you? Maybe jot down your thoughts, your impressions. Consider this deep dive your launch pad, the first step on a journey of discovery.